In this video, I'm going to go through an example where we have to find the quadratic function whose graph goes through this vertex -1, -4 and passes through the point -5 and 12. Okay, we're also going to find the min or max value in the x and y intercepts. So first, let's go ahead and get started by writing the standard form of a quadratic function. Alright, and we know the vertex is -4, -1. So that means that h equals -1 and k equals -4. So let's go ahead and plug those in. So I have f of x equals a times x minus -1 squared plus -4. Okay, let's go ahead and simplify that a little bit. So I'll have a times x plus 1, the negatives cancel, and then minus 4. Okay, now I have all the pieces here except for a. A is still the unknown in this function. So I'm going to have to try to figure out what a is. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and plug in the point that I know. So f of x is 12, right? F of x is y, and I'm going to have a, and then x is -5. So I'm plugging in that point into the function. Now I'm going to solve for a to find out what it is. Okay, so I'll have 12 equals a times -5 plus 1 is -4 squared minus 4. I'm going to add 4 to both sides of the equation, so I'll have 16 over here, and then I'll have a -4 squared is 16. Okay, and then I added 4, so that 4 cancels. Alright, then I'm going to divide both sides by 16. So I'm going to divide both sides by 16. This cancels, and I'm left with 1 equals a. Alright, so I now know that, so I have the standard form is f of x, alright, equals, there's 1 times x plus 1 squared minus 4. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at this equation right here, and I'm plugging in a. Right, a is 1. Now there's no reason to write that 1, because 1 times anything is just itself. So I could just write x plus 1 squared minus 4. So that's the first part of this question, is to find the quadratic function. So there it is. The next part of the question is find the min or max value. So let's do that. This function, it's going to open upwards because a is positive. So a is greater than 0. So we open up. Okay? So if I were to draw this, I'm just going to very sketchy drawing of this. So I know that the vertex is here at 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, so I have the vertex. So I know my parabola, looks like this. I don't know yet where it crosses the axes. I'm going to do that next. But I know it looks like this. So I know that I'm going to be having a min value, right? So this is going to be a min value. The vertex is going to be the lowest value it gets. So, -4 is the min. Remember, you always think about where your min is in relation to y. And, which makes sense, right? Because that's how low you're going. And so the min is -4, and then, which is located, or which occurs when x equals -1. Okay, so whenever you say your min, you should always say where it happens. So give the corresponding next value. Alright, we still need to find the x and y-intercept. I'm going to do that on the next page. Okay, so I've rewritten the function here, the function of the parabola. So for this, so I'm trying to find the x and y-intercept. So let's first start by finding the x-intercept. So to do that, you plug in 0 for y, or 0 for f of x, and then you solve for x. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I'll get 4 equals x plus 1 squared. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides, but I'm going to use the square root method, so I take plus or minus the square root, and I meant to write inside there 4. Okay, so plus or minus the square root of 4 equals x plus 1. Okay, the square root of 4 is 2, so that equals x plus 1. So now I'm going to break this down. Well, I guess I can go ahead and subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. So I'll have plus or minus 2 minus 1 equals x. So I'm going to break this down into 2 parts now. So the positive and then the negative 2. Okay, so this would be 2 minus 1 is 1. And negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Alright, so I have 2 x-intercepts, 1, 0, and negative 3, 0. Okay, those are 2 x-intercepts. Now let's find the y-intercept. Alright, so to do that, I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So I'll have 0 plus 1 squared minus 4. So this is 1 squared minus 4, 1 minus 4, negative 3. So x is 0, y is negative 3. That's the y-intercept. Alright, so now I really do have all the pieces. I could graph this, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 1, 2. Okay, so I know that the vertex is at negative 1, negative 4. That was given to me. Okay, and also I can see it up here that h is negative 1 and k is negative 4. Alright, and then I'm going through the intercept. I have x-intercept at 1 and x-intercept at negative 3. And then I have a y-intercept at negative 3. So if I were to connect those dots, okay, and that would be the graph of this parabola.